3.
Coming up on today's Halloween edition of Trailblazer Weekly, the fall sports season is winding down. We'll let you know which Dixie State teams could be playing into the postseason. We'll also have a chat with volleyball senior libero Sid Brandon.
Plus, we visit the annual DSU Athletics Trunk or Treat to find out what our coaches and student athletes think about Halloween. We'll also give you our team costume power rankings.
We've got it all on today's spooky show. Trailblazer Weekly starts right now. We are live inside the CEC TV studios on the Community Education Channel, Radio Dixie 91.3 FM, and the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page with the Halloween edition of Trailblazer Weekly. I'm Carrick Segmiller, and joining me as always is referee in training, Drayson Ball.
Referee in training, Carrick, what's this all about? You know what? I think I got to give you a personal foul penalty on that one. That's unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, I'm the head referee. You're the referee in training, right?
Yeah.
I thought we had planned this already.
I must have missed that in our pre-production meeting because I don't know that I was referee in training, or whatever you say, I guess.
Well, very happy Halloween to you too, Drayson. I'm going to go ahead and take that candy across the table back to me. I'll put it by me. You've lost the candy. No, we're excited to be here on the set of Trailblazer Weekly today. It is a Halloween edition of Trailblazer Weekly, and we're in costume, obviously, referees, and you know, as we've joked, kind of offset, that may not be the most popular thing for the student athletes and coaches to see because, you know, maybe they're sick of seeing the stripes running around. But all of our crew behind the scenes is in costume as well, and you're going to get a chance to see them a little bit later in the show. But I can't tell you how excited I am. There's been a lot of planning that's gone into this episode. We've been promoting it on social media. She's trying to let everybody know so that you can tune in and watch this show live or even on demand later once the show is finished. But Drayson, I'm a big Halloween fan, and I'm excited that we've been able to put this this Halloween edition together.
Not only that, Carrick, I think we've got to give a huge thanks to everyone here at the CEC TV studios. Look at the set. I mean, this is an unbelievable set. They provided all the decorations, all the cobwebs, everything you see around you, the picture frames, everything. They've provided everything here, and the set just looks absolutely amazing. And I couldn't be happier with the way it looks, and I'm excited to get this Halloween episode underway.
Let's do just that. We'll jump right into our weekend recap, starting with volleyball. After winning 4 consecutive matches on the road, the Dixie State volleyball team returned to the Student Activity Center for, look at this, we got some trick-or-treaters. Trick or treat, we got some candy for you. Here we go. Let's get these buckets up here. Look, I've got a football and a pumpkin and some pirates. Happy Halloween. What a special surprise. We got some trick-or-treaters right here on the show. Not going to lie, that caught me off guard. I thought maybe someone was just wandering across the set, and I just kind of roll with it. Live TV, you roll with it. So let's jump back into our Trailblazer Weekly weekend recap with volleyball. After winning 4 consecutive matches on the road, the Trailblazers returned to the Student Activity Center for a crucial 2-match set in the SAC. We talked about on the show last week, Drayson, how crucial this 2-game set was going to be for the Trailblazers, just in terms of where they finish in the conference, who they play in that first round of the conference tournament, whether or not they host a conference tournament game, and they get not only one victory, but they get both decisive victory on Friday, and then that thrilling come from behind 3-2 win over Regis on Saturday. A spectacular weekend for the volleyball team inside the SAC.
And it was an important weekend, like you mentioned, Carrick. I mean, you had the opportunity to potentially tie for first place, which they did. They got a little bit of help from Colorado School of Mines, who lost that weekend as well. So you beat Colorado Christian 3-0, and then you have that gritty kind of come from behind victory against Regis. A very, very good game, a very hard-fought battle. They were able to get the win there, and then obviously, like you mentioned, like I mentioned, you know, they got some help in the rest of the conference to move up to tie in first place right now in the standings, and that's important because you go into the last weekend in Carrick. The Colorado School of Mines holds the tiebreaker over the Trailblazers right now because they did win that matchup on October 7th earlier this month. But it's an interesting last weekend because if you win out And if Colorado School of Mines slips up again, you have the outright win of the RMAC, the RMAC season championship, basically. So 2 good wins and 2 important wins going forward, especially going into postseason play here coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, one of the words that I've heard Coach Felder use repeatedly over the last couple of years is grit or gritty. That resilient effort from her team, and we're seeing just that this year. Like I said, opening the weekend with a 3-0 sweep of Colorado Christian, and then dropping the first set to Regis, and finding it was back and forth. Regis took set 1, Dixie State took set 2, Regis took set 3, and Dixie State took set 4, and then won the decisive 5th set. Interestingly enough, everybody that completed a victory of a set in that game was playing on, let's see, the SAC runs east to west. The court is east to west, and the SAC was playing on the east side of the net. It just was one of those wacky, interesting things. And you saw Dixie State, they won the coin flip, and they said we wanted to start on the west side so that they could end on the east side, and that they were able to have a lead going into that switch in the 5th set, and then they won that 5th set. And as we've talked about throughout the year, too, it's not just offense, but it's defense. 18 blocks in the match against Regis, resulting in Lauren Gamble. She had 11 of those blocks, of total blocks. She garners her 4th RMAC Defensive Player of the Week award. And I might add that with that award, I mean, I don't want to say she's got it locked up, but I would be shocked if she did not win RMAC Defensive Player of the Year and not just Defensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they need to change the name of that award to the Lauren Gamble Award, just because she's won it almost seemingly every week. Obviously, she hasn't won it every week, but it seemed like every other week on the show we're saying Lauren Gamble has won another Defensive Player of the Week. How about this, Carrick? Leads the NCAA Division II, leads the entire country, does Lauren Gamble in total blocks at 143 and blocks per set at just over 1.5 blocks per set. By the way, in that match you mentioned, she tied DSU's single match total for blocks and block assists with 11 in that matchup. Awesome work from Lauren Gamble, and no less a Defensive Player of the Week award yet again.
What was incredible about that, before we move on to soccer, is that on Friday, we're sitting there statting the game going, man, she doesn't have any blocks into the 2nd set, into the 3rd set. She had 1 block in the 2nd set, 5 block assists in the 6th set, or the 3rd set, to finish with 6 blocks for that day, and then just goes off again on Saturday. But it's total team effort. I mean, everybody just gritty, resilient victory, and now, like I said, tied for first going into senior day on Friday against Westminster. And Colorado School of Mines, don't expect them to drop that match, but if they did and Dixie State won, you're looking at a scenario where you could have an outright conference title. If anything, you're playing for a share of the 2018 RMAC Volleyball regular season title on Friday.
Going to be a good weekend coming up. I'm looking forward to it. But let's move on to the soccer pitch now, as the women's soccer team hosted MSU Denver last night in the last of 4 RMAC tournament quarterfinal matches. Carrick, the women's soccer team has been playing extremely well, and they won that matchup yesterday over MSU Denver 2-1. They just played an entire game, a complete performance from the women's soccer team. They have been on fire recently. They're currently on an 8-game win streak, like we mentioned, we mentioned earlier. They've just been playing excellent, and we saw it last night against MSU Denver.
Absolutely, and that 2-1 victory, the goals were phenomenal too. They scored 2 goals in the first half, and we were able to kind of screen capture and share some highlights on social media throughout that game. And the first goal was receiving multiple hashtag SC Top 10 votes on Twitter. It was Nicole Mertz with her classic flip throw-in from the left side of the field all the way into the box, and Alexa Ashton rose up above everybody and headed in. For you TV and internet viewers, you're seeing it right now. There's the throw and the flick of the head into the top right corner. I mean, top shelf. That is an outstanding goal. And then Tori Page's goal is no less fantastic, as she jukes 2 or 3 defenders and then puts it in the back of the net for the 2-0 victory, 2-0 lead at that time. That was in the 36th minute. MSU Denver did pull one back in the second half, and they put on kind of a barrage in that second half. Dixie State was able to weather that storm, withstand the MSU Denver comeback attempt, and they get the 2-1 victory. We've been saying it seems like all year long about one team or another. With this RMAC tournament, this conference tournament, it's not about how you start necessarily. It's about how you're playing when it comes down to the finish. And this women's soccer team has been good throughout the year. They're great now, and they are on a roll. An opportunity to go in on and play on Friday morning at 11 at #1 seed and conference tournament host Colorado School of Mines, and have an opportunity to shock the conference and to try to move into the final. And I just got word they've moved up to #6 in the NCAA Division II South Central Regional rankings as well. The top 6 go to the regional. So as of right now, they're in a good spot, but you'd love to see 1 or 2 more wins before those final region rankings come out to see if they qualify. But they are on a roll right now. Absolutely fantastic and a fun time to watch them play.
And like you mentioned, Carrick, it's the best time to be playing your best ball right now is towards the end of the season, especially going into this conference tournament. I misspoke earlier. I think I said 8 wins in a row, just 7 wins in a row. But here's an awesome stat about that, Carrick. Over the last 7 wins, they've outscored their opponents 23-2. That's right, 23-2, outscoring their opponents over that 7-game win streak. Their last loss came to Colorado School of Mines on October 7th. Going to be a really, really interesting matchup, a rematch of that loss against Colorado School of Mines this next Friday. Really excited for the way the women's soccer team is playing right now and the way they're going forward.
I would be remiss if I did not mention a couple of awards for this women's soccer team because there's been plenty of them this year. Both yesterday, Nicole Mertz winning Defensive Player of the Week, and just a great award for her, the senior that's put in so much time and effort into this program over the last 4 years. She actually got a goal in one of the games earlier in the week, and then she was able to have that fantastic defensive effort this week as well to win that award. And how about Whitley Jones? Not just the Freshman of the Week, because we've seen that a few times. The RMAC Conference Freshman of the Year, Whitley Jones, as she finishes the season with over double digits in goals. I believe at 11 is where she was at for the season, and just fantastic for her and for the women's soccer program.
And we had her on, I think, one of the first episodes of the season, Carrick, on this show, and she was awesome then, and she's just continued that on throughout the rest of the season. And I think it was last week we saw that she was leading the RMAC, or second place in the RMAC in total points or something like that. So a well-deserved award for a very good player.
12 goals total. I knew it was somewhere right up there. Let's stay on the soccer pitches. We are quickly running out of time here in this segment, but we want to mention a couple more sports. The men's soccer team closed their 2018 season on Saturday on the road at Colorado Christian, and a great opportunity for them as they fell on Thursday, and then they're able to finish the season with a 1-0 victory. We've got more trick-or-treaters. Trick-or-treat. This place is just wide open. Wait, why don't we just make this an open candy bucket policy? Pass them out, Drayson. Hook them up.
Go.
And don't... Be generous there. Don't be stingy.
I'm doing my best, man. You know, I got some practice in the other day at
You did. You did get some practice in, so that worked out fantastically. Open door policy here at Trailblazer Weekly. Bring the kids down and let's give them some candy. The men's soccer team with a 1-0 victory over Colorado Christian on the road. Just wanted to say a few things about that. The team has won 4 of their last 5 matches to finish the season. You could see it's a young team that struggled with a few things early. They started to figure some things out down the stretch, and I think they've got a really solid core coming back next year and a great foundation to be brilliant in 2019.
And at least if you go into the offseason, on a bright note, winning 4 out of your last 5 matches gives you something to look forward to, gives you kind of a good taste in your mouth. I mean, obviously, that's kind of a weird thing to say because you're not playing in the postseason, obviously. But after a tough season, you get to have a little bit of a bright side towards the end of the year, 4 out of 5 wins to finish the season. But moving on to the football team, they wrapped up a 2-game road trip with a matchup at Colorado Mesa on Saturday, Carrick. This one was close early, but kind of got out of hand a little bit late. A 45-24 loss. It's the first time in the season, back-to-back losses for the Trailblazer football team. That's the first time that's happened this season. You know, they were playing well early in the game, and then everything kind of turned on a pick 6 in the second half, and that kind of really turned the momentum. And after that, not able to recover for the Trailblazers, a 45-24 loss. Really a game you felt like you kind of had a chance to win, and it would have been a bonus had you won it, but obviously you suffered the 45-24 loss. Yeah,
there's a lot we could say about that. We'd be rehashing some of the stuff from the Chadron State, the the week earlier as well. But they still finished with 441 yards of total offense, but conceded 558 yards of those. 355 pass yards. We'll say this: 355 pass yards, 86 rush yards. The coaches have said the same thing. They want to see a little bit more balance than that. Mike Sanders is doing everything he can to help this team win, and he has been on the money the last couple of weeks and throwing for 355 yards again and a score. Just 86 yards rushing, though. Got to get a little bit higher. This team, historically, when they rush for over 150 yards or more, 29-16 in the D2 era, 4-0 this season. When they rush for less than 150 yards during the game, 1-4 this season, and 13-81 all time as a D2 member. So you can see that 150 yards rushing mark as a team is a big one, and they just and you can say the same thing. It's like Captain Obvious. You can say the same thing for many football teams. The ground game is so important that if you don't outrush the opponent, you're not going to give yourself a great chance to win. And big opportunity on a big stage against number 6 Colorado School of Mines this weekend. So we'll see what they can draw up this weekend. Yeah, and playing ranked opponents is kind of all that now for the Trailblazers this season. Third ranked opponent and second in the top 10. Obviously, they played Grand Valley State earlier, and then match against CSU Pueblo earlier in the season. Colorado School of Mines comes in at number 6. A good matchup on homecoming and senior day. I really want to see him come out and play very well. Should mention one last thing before the break. Men's golf currently 7th. They're on the day 3 of a 3-day tournament in Hawaii. Currently sit at 7th in the Hawaii Hilo Dennis Rose Intercollegiate Tournament. You can see final results at DixieStateAthletics.com a little bit later tonight. We've got to take our first break. When we come back, volleyball senior libero Sid Brandon will join us on the show. There she is for UTV and internet viewers to discuss this fantastic season the volleyball team is having, and there's much more to come in the volleyball season and on today's episode of Trailblazer Weekly, so stick with us. There's a lot more right after this timeout.
For over a century, Dixie State University has been shaping the Trailblazers of tomorrow by providing a culture of active learning, active life. With a paradigm of real-world experience, mixed with cutting-edge technologies and rich traditions, we provide one of the most affordable educations in the West, set against the most stunning backdrop on the planet.
Okay, Talking Point Live, what are we going to be doing the next few weeks?
Well, the next few weeks coming up before the election, we're going to be talking about drilling down a little bit on what this whole Russian meddling means, especially from an organic standpoint, and did that really have an effect on voting? There's some pretty compelling evidence out there that says it did. So join us now until right before the election.
Right.
Here.
And you know what it means, and when you say what does it means how we talk about it and how we investigate it, right? The critical thinking.
The critical analysis of that. So join Jennifer Kohler and myself, Eric Young, on Talking Point Live, coming to you on the CEC channel at 9:30, 12:30, and 4:30 daily.
Fast-paced family life in need of a slowdown?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Did you know all those green shapes on maps are parks and forests? It's true. Visit discovertheforest.org and plan to visit a park or forest near you, instead of just wondering what it would have been like.
While the word forest might make you think of distant lands from far, far away, please note parks and forests are closer than you think, which means things like beautiful scenery, fresh air, and family time are also closer than you think.
Trailblazer Week.
The Trailblazer volleyball team has won 6 straight matches and 9 out of its last 10, playing its way into a tie for first place in the RMAC standings. Here to help us break this year's incredible season down is senior libero Sid Brandon. Sid, thank you so much for stopping by on Halloween of all days. You probably want to be out and with friends, or I don't know, maybe doing homework or something. But
no,
we appreciate you taking some time this afternoon, and we have a lot to talk about. We'll just dive right into it. And don't worry, we'll talk about Halloween a little bit later in the show because that is the theme for today's show. And so we'll ask some questions about Halloween a little bit later on here, but want to just dive in and first of all just congratulate you on the incredible year so far. And I know that this season is far from over, so we don't want to act too much like the season's winding down, but the regular season is. We just want to congratulate you on that incredible year, and wanted to ask you right off the bat, when were you able to tell that this year's team and that this year was going to be something special? I mean, was it just the first few weeks of practice, or when did it all click? Because it seems like right from the get-go it was full steam ahead.
I mean, during two-a-days, we looked awesome, so that was like, I was like, dang, we have talent out here, but it is always about meshing. Well, and I knew that when we were in preseason, when we played Tarleton, which is, they're ranked #1 right now, I think, and we beat them, and I was like, okay, we're meshing well, and this is going to be a great season and a great team. So it's been awesome. And
that tournament, it felt like was just a grand way to start the year. Play some volleyball in the Burns Arena, everything went smoothly and went well, and you got 3 wins over 3 quality opponents, and it set the tone for the season. A season in which I'm sure you know already, with a win on Friday, you set the single season win record for the regular season. It would be 21 wins. The record is 20 right now. What is it that has helped this team play so well? You mentioned meshing, and so that's probably part of it, but what is it that has helped this team play so well throughout the year? Yeah, besides meshing together, and obviously they're great girls, great teammates, our assistant coach has really developed these plays that we run. We run red, black, blue. They're called different things. It's kind of hard to explain, and it basically pulls the block from the front row to help get one-ups for our hitters. That really helps our offense as well as obviously defense. So.
Carrick and I were talking a little bit before the show, before you came on, and just kind of talking about kind of the rules of the libero. And I think we kind of haven't figured out, but maybe for those listening that might not know exactly what the libero is or what it means or what kind of the rules, explain what it is to be the libero and what kind of the rules that go along with that.
They wear a different colored jersey.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
That's about all some people know. So,
how I always explain
really,
it, because everybody knows football, right? So you have offense and defense, right? I'm defense. I'm like what we like to say is like I'm like a safety on the football team. So I basically dig the balls, things like that. The one rule that a lot of people don't know is that I can't take a ball with my hands. I can't set it above the 10-foot line. So I can't assist our hitters with the 10-foot line. But I can use my platform in front of the 10-foot line to assist them. Does that make sense?
But can you attack? I mean, can you like quick set over the net?
Yeah,
I can. Can't help your.
Yeah, I can dump it.
I remember I saw a play you did that at Pueblo a couple of weeks ago. But so you can quick set, quick attack, but you just can't set up your teammates.
Yes, exactly.
Obviously, you can substitute in anytime you want, right? Or do you have to wait? Because I see you subbing in like almost every play or out of every play. Is there a rule about substitutions like that? No, I'm not technically a sub. Okay. So yeah, basically that's what the libero is you don't have to use substitution. So I go in for the middles because usually middles can't play defense. So I play the back row for the middles. They're the big girls that get the blocks. And always good to have a refresher on some of the rules there as well. So
I needed that refresher as much as anybody.
So I mean, what obviously you've been here 4 years. You're a senior now here at Dixie State. What did make you kind of decide to be a libero and kind of just be here at Dixie State? What made you want to be a libero here at Dixie State?
Well, I actually used to be an outside hitter my whole entire life until I came here. My senior year of high school, my coach was like, I want you to be libero. And I was like, what? Like, never thought about it. I was always the one, like, getting the glory kind of thing. And I never really thought about defense until I looked back and I was like, wow, like, I'm actually pretty good at defense. I was just scrappy. I'd throw my body anywhere for balls. And so, yeah, once I changed my senior year, I got recruited to Dixie State, and they were like, come be libero here. So it's kind of how it went down.
And obviously that's got to take an incredible amount of trust on your part to trust that, hey, my coach is doing what's best for me. And now you've had a fantastic career here. You can look back and see that, yeah, that was the right decision to make. But was that a pretty difficult decision to make at first? Like you mentioned that, kind of giving up the glory for just, playing some defense. How difficult of a decision was that to make initially?
It was pretty difficult at first. I was like, no, I'm going to be outside hitter, and in club I still would try to play outside. But then I realized I'm only 5'7", so I'm like, I'm going to have to go to libero at some point and play some defense. So once I moved to libero, I was like, I love this. I found the joy in just getting those ups, the thrill of diving and things like that, so it was awesome.
Now, I haven't played a ton of volleyball in my life, but it seems like it was probably the last time I played, I took one square in the noggin, right in the face. And it was then I was like, well, this sport maybe isn't for me. But what's it like? I mean, obviously, you probably get to a point where maybe it's moving in slow motion almost. If you're able to get to some of those balls and dig them out, what's it like when you see the other team rise up, and next thing you know, the ball's just torpedoing over the net, and you've got a split second to make a decision? I mean, how do you know where to go and to read where it's coming off? You know, put us in the mindset of a libero as that ball's coming down and you've got to dig it out.
Okay, well, first, a lot of people think it's like I think before I go. I don't. I'm just like, I read off the hitter. I see how her shoulder is, obviously squared up to me, so I try to get squared up to her shoulders. I watch her arm, which is a big thing, and I watch her hand. So obviously if her hand's like this, I'm like, okay, she's going to tip, so I'll take off forward. But the big thing that coach always says is stay neutral. You never know what's going to happen, so you want to read and then react. So yeah, I guess that's the best I can put it.
That's just amazing,
when it
because
does.
I watch how quickly that sport moves, and over the last 4 seasons now, as I've had the opportunity to help stat the volleyball games, and we're just tracking everything. It's just incredible how quickly it moves, and since starting my job here at Dixie State 4 years ago, it's a sport that I have just come to really enjoy watching. It's just incredible to see what you do out there. With each of the student athletes that come in, I like to ask the question, and Drayson's like, oh, here he goes, broken record again. He asks the same question every time. But, why Dixie State? Obviously, you've been here 4 years now, and it's been an incredible experience, I'm sure. I've been able to read on your bio, it says, I chose Dixie State because I love the heat in St. George. It's a beautiful town, and I fell in love with the amazing community and the volleyball team from day one. I'm sure that probably pretty much sums it up. But what was it when it was time to make that decision and put ink to paper that said, I want to play here at Dixie State and spend the next 4 years of my life in St. George?
Well, a big thing was the town, obviously. I only lived 4 hours away in Salt Lake area, so I was like, I want to be semi-close to home, that I can drive and still see my family, but also everyone came here for spring break. It was warm, and just, yeah, the community was awesome. When I came here, the girls were awesome. Our team is something special. I don't know if other teams feel this, but our team truly is something special. We're like a family, and we have each other's backs on and off the court. I know that any day I could call any one of those girls 10 years down the road, and they'd be like, all right, I'm driving up to Salt Lake to help you with whatever you need. So in that aspect, I just love the team. They really are amazing. So.
Why don't you take a kind of a look back on your 4 years here at Dixie? You've had a lot of success as a team, both in the Pac West, this season in the RMAC. Is there a favorite moment you have, maybe a game, a season, a favorite moment that you might have that you could share with us? Tell us a little bit about your experience and kind of what has been your favorite part about your career here at Dixie State.
My favorite part, that's pretty tough. Obviously winning the Pac West freshman year was nice, and that was fun. Let's see. But this last Regis game, that was really fun. That 3-2, that was fun. And that's when we came in the middle and we were like, we got to get this done. And we know we want to take first in this conference. And so that was a really brilliant moment in one of my career plays. But what else? I'm trying to think. I don't know. Honestly, I love it all. I love every game.
I mean, that's all good stuff. You mentioned the Regis game. What was it? You probably heard me talking about this in the student control room. What was it about that one side of the court on Regis? I mean, do you notice that happens in more than just that game? Every once in a while, there's just a side of the net that seems to have the magic?
Not every game, but I have to tell you, our team is so crazy about stuff like that. They're like, are you wearing your Lucky Sports bra? Do you have your Lucky socks on? Things like that. Hannah Doonan's always like, you never warm up on that side. You need to be on this side to warm up. And like, we always have the certain cheer before that we always say and things like that. So I don't necessarily know if there was magic, but we did pick that side to end it with.
Once the momentum's flowing, you got to stay on that side, right?
Talking with senior libero Sid Brandon here on Trailblazer Weekly, special Halloween edition of Trailblazer Weekly. I understand you guys had a kind of a special Halloween practice this morning. Talk to us a little bit about that and kind of what that entailed, and give us a little insight on that, if you would.
Well, I do have to say I've never woken up at 5 a.m. and dressed up before until I came to college. But yeah, we wake up every year and Coach always wants us to dress up, and we do like a little fashion show for her, and she takes pictures of us.
Speaking of pictures, there it is. Why don't you point out which one for you TV and internet viewers? Because I looked at this picture and I said, I don't see Sid Brandy. But Coach told me which one you are, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to show everybody who you are in this picture.
Yeah, I'm actually the giant pug right next to the big baby. So I have a giant pug head on, and one of the girls walked me out like an old lady, and I did dog tricks. So yeah.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, we always have fun with it every year. The girls are really creative.
All right, so I think we got to do a little bit of our rapid fire. We did this. We got this is a little bit of a teaser for our next segment, Carrick. But got a few of the questions.
We were at the trunk or treat the other night.
We were at the trunk or treat, and we asked all the student athletes a series of questions, and so we'll give you a few of those. I want to see how you answer them as well. First thing, what's your favorite part about Halloween?
Oh, dressing up for sure.
Dressing up for sure.
Yeah. What did you just call it?
Halloween.
Halloween?
Halloween.
Halloween or Halloween?
We had this discussion at practice this morning.
Is it Halloween or Halloween? Because Carrick says Halloween.
I say Halloween.
I say Halloween.
I say Halloween.
Because I think it's Halloween, because if you were to spell hallway, you'd spell it the same as you'd spell
But how do you spell the word hollow? Like, not hollow with an O, but like a hollowed event. Like a, you know what I'm saying? It's an actual word.
I don't know that I've ever heard
H-A-L-L-O-W.
I don't know if I've ever heard that. I pronounce it Halloween, so potato, I guess.
But this is an ongoing battle we have here, if you can't tell.
So, what was when you were trick-or-treating as a child, what was your favorite candy you looked forward to getting at houses?
Probably Butterfinger. Probably because it wasn't that like prevalent. So I was like, can't wait to get a Butterfinger, but it's like, that's really not the greatest candy out there. But it was rare. Though. It was rare, so I wanted
that's probably top 5 at least.
Oh yeah.
So would you rather go to see a scary movie, or would you rather go through a haunted house?
Probably haunted house.
Haunted house.
Went to one last night at Staley Farms.
There you go.
Ooh. You did the haunted maze?
Yeah.
Out there?
It was
I
scary.
haven't done it for a few years, but yeah it was. It was a little. I got a little nervous last time I did it, but.
I don't know if the last time I've been through a haunted house. I can't honestly think of the last time I've been. I think I went through one in like 5th grade at my elementary school, but I think that's the last time I ever went through one.
I don't know if there are actually any like haunted houses around here. I mean, there's like haunted mazes and haunted, like when I was growing up, there was it was literally, I mean, it was this old house that was where you call it the parking garage, because it's like the only parking garage in St. George, the one over by the roundabout on Tabernacle. It was just right there where that is, and it was just this old spooky house, but they tore it down obviously when they built that parking garage. But it's been a while since I've been through a haunted house. But happy Halloween to you, Sid. We're excited that you could stop by and join us here on the show. We are running out of time. We did have one more question though that we asked the others, so we might as well just throw it out there. Do you paint a pumpkin or do you carve a pumpkin?
Carve.
Okay.
Yep.
That was kind of the general consensus there. Spoiler alert, I don't want to spoil the next segment too much, but that was kind of the general consensus. It was kind of like, what? You don't paint a pumpkin, but maybe it's, once you have kids though, it's, you don't want to deal with knives and scary objects like that.
And speaking of carving pumpkins, I think we need to give a special shout out for the carved pumpkins you see here on the set.
Yes, James Farnsworth, one of our great engineers and camera operators, and his family actually carved these pumpkins that you see throughout the set here today with the Trailblazer logo on it, the Dixie State academic logo, and then one of them actually says Trailblazer Weekly. There it is, right there. So, I mean, we got all sorts of special people helping us out here today, and this set, it looks great. Doesn't look great? I mean,
no, it does.
Kind of like a spook alley.
I like it.
So, anyway, thanks for joining us on the show today, and we look forward to Friday and Senior Day on Friday. We didn't want to bring it up too much because it's like Senior Day. Because here's the thing: you got a Senior Day match, and then you've got RMAC tournament and regional tournament, and hopefully keep playing past that. So an opportunity to go out with a bang your senior year. So thanks for stopping by, and you better believe we'll be there on Friday and at the RMAC tournament game next week as well.
Awesome, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sid. We got to take our next break, but like Drayson was talking about, a little bit of a spoiler alert, when we come back, we will go to the opportunity that we had to spend some time at the Dixie State Trunk or Treat the other night and talk to multiple student athletes, coaches, about what they like about Halloween. This is Trailblazer Weekly on this haunted edition of the show. It's Halloween, but we're here rocking it here inside the CEC TV studios. We got to take our next time out, and we'll come right back after this.
Radio Dixie 91.3. We don't play that. Nope, not that. The big fat no there. That's what we play. And stuff like that. On St. George's only alternative, Radio Dixie 91.3. Oh, and from 9 till midnight, we play this. I need a one dance. And this. Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
I take the road less traveled, run free, unwind, unravel, someplace outside with lots to do. Green trees, red rocks, and don't forget that blue sky. The sunshine shining, sunshine pouring on me. Think I might just stay a while. Say hooray all day because the sun is gonna shine on me. Sun is gonna shine on me. Sun's gonna shine on me.
Responsible ourselves for our minds.
True, right? But that's
we can't
that's
palm it off on being unwitting dupes and just say, "Oh well, it doesn't count," because I got played.
Well, we have some unwitting dupes, Jennifer.
We do, but you can't say because we got played by the Russians that we have to redo the election.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
For over a century, Dixie State University has been shaping the trailblazers of tomorrow by providing a culture of active learning, active life. With a paradigm of real-world experience mixed with cutting-edge technologies and rich traditions, we provide one of the most affordable educations in the West set against the most stunning backdrop on the planet.
Today is the beginning of a bright new future for this country.
I won't live a life on my knees.
The voters are coming.
Trailblazer Weekly is the official show of Dixie State Athletics. You can keep up with all the Trailblazer athletic action with pictures, stats, and game recaps at DixieStateAthletics.com. While you're at it, don't forget you can follow our show on Twitter as well with @DSUBlazerWeekly.
From all of us here at Trailblazer Weekly, Happy Halloween! And welcome back inside this haunted edition of Trailblazer Weekly. Indeed, happy Halloween to all of you. Speaking of Halloween, we are hanging out at the Dixie State Trunk or Treat and Car Show and having a blast. Very excited to be here, Drayson. We're going to talk to some of the student athletes and just have a blast and see what they think about Halloween.
It's been a good event so far, Carrick. We've been here for just a few minutes, got to talk to a few different people, and it's fun. As you can see, we're dressed as referees. It's fun to be in a place and amongst all these athletes that we're probably the most hated people here just based on our costumes. I don't know if I could ever have said that before in my life, but it's good to be out here, and we're looking forward to talking to some of the players.
Indeed we are. We're going to go talk to them and find out what they enjoy about Halloween. We'll have them throw it back to when they were kids, what they currently like about Halloween. It's going to be a blast. So like the golf video we did a couple of weeks ago, we're going to go out and talk to these student athletes. So Trace and I are going to split up. Hope you enjoy it. Happy Halloween, Dixie State Trunk or Treat Edition. What's your favorite part about Halloween?
Well, it would have been when I was younger, going trick-or-treating, but now as an adult, to see all the adults in their costumes acting like kids is definitely a good time.
My favorite part about Halloween is seeing the creativity everybody has of coming up with costumes and being with the kids. I love seeing their happy faces of getting candy. It's so fun.
My favorite part about Halloween is giving giving candy out to kids. They just look so cute.
Probably just get to dress up and mess around with the guys.
What's your favorite part about Halloween?
The candy. Absolutely candy. The candy.
It's spooky season, so I love how everyone just gets super festive and dresses up.
What was your favorite costume that you dressed in as a kid?
Me and my best friend were Jasmines. We both dressed as princesses, and that was my favorite Halloween. It was so fun.
So what was your favorite costume you wore as a child for Halloween?
As a child, I was really into like horror movies and stuff. So I'd be like basic, you know, like Freddy Krueger, Jason, anything like that, you know, Ghostface.
What's your favorite costume that you dressed in as a kid?
Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz.
My favorite costume, I dressed up as Barbie in a box. So I took a cardboard box, put it all over me, and saran wrap in front, and had the Barbie wig, Barbie pink outfit. So that had to be my favorite.
One time when I was like 10 or 11, I dressed up as a motocross person. It was pretty funny.
As a kid, definitely Spider-Man. That was my go-to when I was a kid.
It was actually Spider-Man. I dressed up as it probably 3 or 4 years in a row when I was a kid.
I was a witch with a sparkly pink cape.
Would you rather go to a scary movie or a haunted house?
Scary movie. We actually watched a scary movie as a team, and it was hilarious. It was awesome.
Would you rather see a scary movie or go to a haunted house?
A haunted house. Scary movies are too scary.
That's tough. I'd probably say a haunted house. Yeah, and go for the extreme, the ones where they grab you and push you down and all that stuff for sure. Yep.
Do you prefer going to a haunted house or seeing a scary movie?
I would have to say haunted house. I love going with friends and just kind of getting that scare factor.
I'll agree with haunted houses.
Definitely haunted house.
I would rather go to a haunted house.
Ooh, that's a tough one, but I'd have to say a scary movie. I'm definitely a movie person.
Would you rather go to a scary movie or a haunted house?
A scary movie.
Would you rather carve a pumpkin or paint a pumpkin?
Carve.
This year I painted a pumpkin, but I think I like carving better.
Would you rather carve a pumpkin or paint a pumpkin?
Definitely carve a pumpkin.
Paint for me.
Would you rather carve a pumpkin or paint a pumpkin?
Carve a pumpkin.
So would you rather carve a pumpkin or paint a pumpkin?
Carve. Gotta keep it traditional. Gotta carve it.
Would you rather carve a pumpkin or paint a pumpkin?
Carve.
Carve.
Carve, absolutely. Pumpkins are not meant to be painted.
What's your favorite Halloween candy that you always look forward to getting and filling your bag with?
Probably going to like the rich neighborhood and getting the full-size Reese's. That was the best part for me.
What was the favorite candy you got while trick-or-treating as a child?
Definitely Reese's. Anything chocolate.
You gotta love the big candy bars.
Butterfinger. Hands down, Butterfinger.
What was the candy that you looked forward to most getting for trick-or-treating?
Reese's Cups.
What was the one candy, or maybe two, that you always look forward to filling your bag with when you were a kid?
Plain Hershey's bar.
Plain Hershey's bar?
Like the little Hershey's bars.
Was your favorite candy, or still is your favorite candy that you get during Halloween?
It's really close, but probably Reese's. I'm a big fan of peanut butter.
That's been a popular one so far. Is it Halloween or Halloween?
It's definitely Halloween.
We got another Halloween. Drayson's not the only one.
Is it Halloween or Halloween?
Halloween.
Halloween. All right.
Is it Halloween or Halloween?
Halloween.
Is it pronounced Halloween or Halloween?
I say Halloween. That's just me.
Is it Halloween or Halloween?
Halloween.
Another Halloween.
Is it pronounced Halloween or Halloween?
I say Halloween.
Halloween.
There we go.
Halloween. Halloween, no question. Yeah, not Halloween. I don't even know what that is. Halloween.
Is it Halloween or Halloween?
Halloween.
Is it Halloween or Halloween?
Halloween.
All right, that seems to be the consensus so far. So Halloween it is. Wait. Is that Batman?
Yeah, it was Batman.
Batman making a cameo appearance here on Trailblazer Weekly. Man, we got all sorts of tricks and treats here on this Halloween edition of the show. Hope you enjoyed listening to our student athletes. We had one coach on there, men's soccer coach Johnny Broadhead, was willing to chat with us as well. I really feel like those types of things help us get to know the student athletes on a little bit different level than just like, hey, how's the season going? How's this? It really gets them talking and what they enjoyed as a kid in Halloween, what they like about it now, and it was fantastic. While we were there, we got to see a number of teams dressed up in their costumes. And over the years, this trunk or treat has expanded. This was huge. We had over 3,000 people at the trunk or treat this year. A great car show in line with it as well. And so it's a bigger event than it used to be, but each year the teams dress up and people can vote on who they think were the best. Now, just for the record, there was 2 different awards, and volleyball won one and softball won the other per the vote by the trunk-or-treaters. However, Drayson and I are going to do our own team costume power rankings. You hear power rankings a lot when you're talking about sports and listen to these shows, so we thought it'd be fun to do some team trunk-or-treat costume power rankings for you TV and internet viewers. You will get to see those on your screen. If you're listening on the radio, be sure to try to pull it up on your phone real quick or watch it later, and we'll describe them to you for your radio listeners as well. So let's jump into it. I'll start with number 5. We did our top 5 team power rankings. Not every team was there. Men's golf was in Hawaii, and men's basketball was up in Orem, Utah, prepping for their exhibition at Utah Valley. So let's do this, Drayson. Top 5 power rankings. We'll start with 5 right here, and we've combined 2 of them together because, and I don't know if they planned this all together or if it was just by chance, we had 2 separate groups of teams do the same theme, and it was the 101 Dalmatians theme. It was cross country, who you see right there on your screen now, and then as well as soccer. Great choice. We had 2 different sets of the Dalmatians, 2 different sets of Cruella de Vil. In fact, one of them was one of the women's soccer players that we interviewed, Cammie Hunter. She was Cruella de Vil, dressed up as the villain in 101 Dalmatians. So, Drayson, that's our number 5. I thought that was pretty good, but we saw 4 others that kind of took it to the next level.
Yeah, they were all in unison, so that was really cool. But number 4, I think we talked a little bit about, they were just a little bit better. I think they had maybe a little bit more of a creative idea, but they're at number 4, and that is the women's basketball team. They came as the Toon Squad, obviously from Space Jam.
Toon Squad.
So they came dressed as the Toon Squad. They come in at number 4. Really interesting and creative idea. I really like the idea, but just at number 4, if we're going to be a little bit critical here, obviously it's kind of a fun little segment here. They just wore T-shirts, which is nice and fun, but that's why they're at number 4. Great idea, but not the greatest execution, if you will.
That's a great sports analogy there. Great idea, great play that was drawn up. Just the execution was, and like I said, it wasn't bad execution. We just, I was walking across campus today and I saw a person in an actual Toon Squad Bugs Bunny jersey. It was an actual jersey. So there are jerseys out there. So women's basketball coming in at number 4 in our costume power rankings. Number 3, and let me just disclaimer first. Number 3 and number 2 were really, really close and hard to decide on. And we didn't want to go with any ties, so we split them up here, but this could have gone either way. So we selected in the number 3 spot softball. And one of the reasons that is I could not find a whole team picture anywhere. Just a few players that you're going to see there. I know there's probably a couple that exist. They had the Mario Kart theme. You see Mario there. You see a banana peel back there. That Peach in there.
Yoshi and Peach.
As well.
It's like
so that's a great theme, but I got to see the whole team picture. And I tried to find one, could not find one. So volleyball coming in at number 3 in our costume power rankings. Only 2 left. We saw some good costumes. They were all, let me just say, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings here. We're just having fun with these power rankings. They had some great themes. Everybody looked great in their costumes. And so, just take these power rankings with a grain of salt. But let's move on. 2 left.
And number 2, just by the hair, just because we did have a full picture of the entire team, and that's baseball. They dressed up as the superheroes from Marvel. Obviously, you see there, you got Batman, you got a few different Jokers, some Supermans, maybe some Iron Mans back there. You have Tony Stark's obviously there as well. So they had everyone was dressed up. We talked to Tyler Rosas in that little interview segment. He was dressed up as a Joker there as well. So they were really well done. They had everyone was planned out and prepped, and it was very well executed. And I just loved seeing all their costumes. It was really, really fun that they were able to do that.
So you had superheroes from all ends of the spectrum. Marvel, all those ones. I'm no superhero person, but Justice League, DC, what is it? Help me out here. The other one,
Marvel,
there's Marvel,
DC,
and then
yeah. I'm not much of a superhero guy as well. So you're just as in the know as I am.
That's why I'm dressed up as a referee and not as a superhero novice here. Carrick Segmiller joining you in Trailblazer Weekly. Baseball number 2 in the power rankings. And then number 1, drum roll, please. Can I get a drum roll? Anybody? Okay. Wow. That was pretty good.
Right on cue.
Whoever that was. Volleyball team in the number 1 spot. They were Day of the Dead, Coco theme, the Disney movie that came out last year. Fantastic movie, by the way. And they went all out, and you see the great team shot of them there, and I just felt like everything was perfectly executed. The matching costumes, the makeup, the paint, you name it. They nailed this, the Day of the Dead, the Coco theme at the Trunk or Treat the other night, claiming our top spot in the costume power rankings.
Yeah, so good. I mean, we talked about it. They were the hands down number 1 team. I mean, they were just awesome. I thought their costumes were great, like you mentioned, and obviously if you base it off a great movie like Coco like that, it's got to be a hands down no-brainer to be in the number 1 spot.
So what's your favorite part about Halloween?
My favorite part about Halloween probably be watching the scary movies.
You like saying Halloween, huh? Every time I give you the opportunity.
It's Halloween. I don't understand why we're having this argument. It's Halloween. If you were to spell hallway, Hall, hallway, Halloween, it's Halloween.
Why don't you engine search right now on your computer? I don't know if I'm allowed to say the big company that you would on the air right now, but define the word hollow, Hallo. It's a word, I promise you. We got to take a break, and Drayson will look that up during the break. But let me tell you, my favorite part about Halloween, though, thanks for asking, is just that it's kind of the segue into the holiday season. You have Halloween, and then you're into November, it's fall, the autumn season, Thanksgiving's coming, Christmas is coming, the holidays are coming, New Year's. It's a wonderful time of year. Some might say it's even the most wonderful time of the year. And so it just is an awesome opportunity to move into the holiday season. I thought I was going to be able to keep it together, and I couldn't, so we better take a break. It's the Halloween edition of Trailblazer Weekly. We're obviously having a lot of fun here on the show today. Drayson's going to look up what he found about the word hollow. There's Batman again. And then when we come back, we've got a weekend preview for you, let you know everything that's going on in Trailblazer Athletics this weekend. Look at our great crew back there dressed up here on this Halloween edition of Trailblazer Weekly. Final timeout, and then back to wrap up and put a bow on the show on Trailblazer Weekly.
You find the titans of classical music in St. George. Classical music on Radio St. George, 100.3 FM. Where do you find the legends of jazz? Evenings on Radio St. George, 100.3 FM.
Do you think people like John McCain and other people would just sit there quietly on the sides, and that many Republican activists would refrain from registering their disapproval in the peanut gallery?
Some might argue that Republican activist is an oxymoron.
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of activism. But
We
you
just
see
didn't
what
see
I'm
it.
saying? If you just flip it right over on its head.
I would like to flip it on its head, and in fact, I'm already doing that because my own position is free speech is free speech. Okay, and I'm kind of advocating for something that I'm really not supporting in this respect, as far as protesting or not protesting and being able to recognize your audience. What we need on either side, I don't care where you're coming from, is the ability to recognize the audience.
There is a place where young and old make connections, where kids feel like grown-ups, and grown-ups feel like kids. There is a place where beauty arises in contrast, where wonder is universal, and laughter second nature. There is a place where friends find a future, families find each other, and feelings find their home. There is a place.
The Dixie State Stretch Internet Portal and the RMAC Network is your home for all Trailblazer athletics live streaming. Don't miss a second of the action. You can watch DSU games home and away at portal.stretchinternet.com/Dixie State. That's portal.stretchinternet.com/Dixie State.
Another show is almost in the books, and you know what that means. It's time to put a bow on today's show with a look ahead with a weekend preview starting with volleyball. The Trailblazers host...
Hello. Hello.
Sorry.
I have no idea what you're doing right now.
That's the word hallow.
I think you're just embarrassing yourself on live television. But
it's the word hallow.
I still am going to go down to my grave saying it's Halloween. It's pronounced Halloween.
I've got it
like
right here.
hallway.
Hallow is a verb. It means to honor as holy. Or as a noun, it is a saint or a holy person.
What does that have to do with anything with Halloween?
Halloween. It's sacred, and it's like the Day of the Dead.
Don't let me throw my flag against you, give you another unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So,
illegal use of the Halloween word. Oh my goodness.
I saw that hanging up there earlier, and I was wondering, why would they have that off screen so you can't even see it on camera? Obviously, now I know.
Wow.
Pretty scary.
This show has gone off the rails, but it is Halloween. So let's keep rolling. Weekend preview. You were getting us somewhere with volleyball before I derailed us with the correct pronunciation
We
of
will
the word.
continue to go with volleyball, and the Trailblazers will host Westminster this Friday. As we mentioned earlier, it is Senior Day, the final regular season game of the regular season, like I mentioned. A chance for them to close out the season with a win, Carrick, and obviously, if they win, guarantees at least a share of the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference regular season championship. Obviously, if they got some help, they would win it outright. But it's finally last game of the season against Westminster, and a good chance for them to close out the season with a win.
Oh, no question about that. And it'll be a fantastic setting on Senior Days. We talked to Sid Brandon, the senior libero, a little bit ago. And, sometimes it's a day that, sometimes the players don't like to talk about it too much. And because it's, you put in 4 years of blood, sweat, and tears, and all of a sudden it kind of comes to the pinnacle and it's over. But fortunately for the volleyball team, they've got much more volleyball to play in the RMAC tournament and then into the South Central Regionals, which they just moved up from number 5 to number 4 earlier today. So they sit at number 4 right now. Like you said, can clinch a share of the regular season title with the win. And it's funny because we say clinch a share, but it literally is you win a conference regular season title. You get a trophy, you hang a banner, you are conference champions, you just have to share it with Colorado School of Mines, and we'll see what happens with Dixie State's game and then the Ore Diggers game this weekend as well to see who is the champions after this regular season. Speaking of Senior Day, football Senior Day on Saturday as well as they come back to Trailblazer Stadium for the 2018 home finale against number 6 Colorado School of Mines. This Saturday, kickoff at 1 p.m. We will have pregame for you at 12:30 right here on these very outlets here on CEC TV, the Dixie State Athletics Stretch Portal, and on Radio Dixie 91.3 FM. As it'll be an opportunity to have a great kind of on-location pregame show. But about that game, man, the third-ranked opponent of the season for Dixie State, and how about the second in the top 10? Tough task ahead, but an opportunity to do something big for the Trailblazers. You need to win one of these last two to secure a winning season. So that's football. Before time runs out, we want to talk about women's soccer a little bit too, because they have an opportunity as we wrap the show up to continue to make history in the RMAC tournament.
You bet you, Eric. You're going to go on the road now. Again, in the RMAC tournament, they're going to go on the road to the number 1 seed host school, Colorado School of Mines. That's going to be this Friday. A good opportunity for them to go and beat the top-ranked team in the conference tournament. And like we mentioned earlier in the show, they're playing incredible right now, and I love their chances going forward. I cannot wait to watch this matchup on Friday against the number 1 seeded Colorado School of Mines.
I think Dixie State has a good chance in this game. Colorado School of Mines is a very good team, so I won't be surprised either way, but Coach Lucy has this team playing just as a unit and just together right now, so it's fantastic. So Halloween edition of Trailblazer Weekly is in the books. Cannot believe it. An hour flies by too fast. Sometimes it seems like we need 2 hours. But this episode of Trailblazer Weekly in the books. Remember, you can watch it anytime at youtube.com/Dixie State Athletics. For Drayson Ball, I'm Carrick Segmiller. We thank you for making us part of your day. Enjoy the rest of your Halloween. Have a safe one tonight. Get lots of candy. We'll see you next week.